guys, it's BT, new manager for Overwatch. Thank you for tuning into my MTL. I hope you enjoy the video.
All right. BT, what is your favorite EdgeGamers memory?
So it's kind of hard for me to put a label on it because there's been a lot of different things that have happened with like in the community. I've met a lot of people, and thus there's been a lot of like interactions that I've had in game, outside of the game, that have been really memorable. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, this one's my favorite. But probably if I had to put my finger on it, um, I'd say recently I was playing FiveM, and me and my buddy Rogue Yeti, we were like role playing that we had like drowned in a river,
Yeah.
and we had to, the police showed up and they had to figure out if our pulses were getting any better, and they were trying to do CPR on us. And I was, I asked my buddy Rogue, do you think I should, because we were in Discord together, I was like, hey, do you think I should start just gurgling water? You think that would be like good role play? And he's like, do it, do it, do it. So I did it, and he laughed so it was like the most contagious laugh I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard someone like get that high pitched while laughing. Like he was wheezing. It was clear, and it was the funny. It was like the funniest thing ever. I got it recorded. He sent me a clip of it. But that's probably in terms of like recently. That's probably one of my favorite memories.
Yeah, that sounds nice. What game did you play before Overwatch?
So I didn't actually have Overwatch until I believe October. Um, I actually don't remember why I got it, but the game I was playing before that, I was playing FiveM a lot, and I was also playing. I still play FiveM a lot, but I was also playing like CS:GO. I still play a lot of Dead by Daylight. I was playing it back then too, so I was kind of playing those games. I'd say Town of Salem as well.
Mhm. Do you know what caused you to switch divisions?
So um, the switch from CS to are you talking about my one from CS to
Yeah, from
GTA,
CS.
and then from GTA to Overwatch? Like you talking about both of them or just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
of them?
yeah. Go ahead and list both.
Yeah. So the one from CS to GTA, I actually had recently downloaded GTA, um, and a little bit before I made the switch, I started realizing that like there wasn't a lot of like I believe the the Department of Justice was a big factor in my switch because there wasn't a lot going on, like or at least like a nice like foundation happening. And my buddy Architect of Life was like, "Hey, you should be a lawyer." And I actually found a lot of enjoyment playing on the GTA server, despite the fact that I could barely run the game. But so it kind of shows how much I really liked it even back then because like I didn't it did bother me. Well, it did bother me that the game didn't run well, but it the community made up for that. Like I've had so many fun experiences on FiveM, and I'm so glad that I was a part of it. And then a little bit after, I'd say, I believe it was like a few months after I got into FiveM and I was in the GTA group. I my new friend Wish got me playing Overwatch, and I don't remember how exactly she got me to get it, but I think I just impulse bought the game, um, and turned out I liked it. And then found out later that Overwatch is actually going to become a supported game. So I was encouraged to. Well, I kind of just convinced myself like, hey, like this seems like something I could, actually like make a name for myself in. and show others that I can do like good work in EGO.
Yeah.
So I thought I would take the opportunity to help Wish out and other people who are going to join Overwatch and be like, hey, try to be a leader as much as I could, even if it didn't mean I was leadership. Because when I first joined the Overwatch group, I was just a G tag, and now I'm leadership. So this was my goal, kind of going into it. And that's pretty much why I switched, was to show EGO that I can be a leader. And I feel like I accomplished that. But I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
Nice. I like that. So, BT, do you like reading? And if you do, what would you say your favorite book is?
Acidity put this question on here because I am also an interviewer, and he did questions one time, and he I was the interviewer, and I asked this question to the person. I was like, I'm just gonna be honest. Whoever wrote this question is silly because I hate reading, and the response stays the same here. Like, I don't like reading. I'm literally reading right now for class. I I truly don't like reading. I don't know why. Um, I feel like it has something to do with the fact that I have such a short attention span. So at the end of the day, I can get it done, but it is so hard for me to just sit and concentrate on something, especially long readings for X amount of hours. And I like assigned or not, like assigned reading for school or even just fun reading, it's all the same. I can't do it. I can't just sit down and read a book. I'd much rather watch a movie or read a short story. I can't do novels. I can't do, academic, like I can't do like read academic papers. I'm good at writing essays, but man, I hate reading. But if I had to pick a book, I remember I did really like uh, Hunger Games back in, I believe, middle school. I think was Hunger. When did Hunger Games come out?
I'm not sure. I really liked the Percy Jackson books when I was in middle school. That was always one of my favorite. I read those like over and over again.
We had my fourth grade teacher read that to me. I'm 20 years old, so that would have been in 2009. Our fourth grade teacher was reading the Percy Jackson books to us, and it was so cool. I remember that. But in terms of a book that I read through the whole Hunger Games, not all three books, but just that first one. I was actually like super into it. It's probably the only book that I've ever like read from cover to cover, and I was like not distracted. Like I was completely into it the whole time.
All right.
I
What are
don't know
your
what that
main
says about me, but
What are your main responsibilities as a manager for Overwatch?
um, so I guess my main responsibilities, uh, I kind of have to like uh, give this context, or else it won't make sense. So the way we do it in Overwatch is slightly different than other leadership teams. So we actually have different managers assigned to different sections or coordinator groups. And what I mean by coordinator groups is like event coordinator and recruitment coordinator. So Wish is kind of like the overseer um, of like everything, and admin trainer, um, the admin trainers. And then Edish is the head EC, so he looks over the ECs. And me and Cell both kind of divide up the recruitment coordinator work. Um, that basically boils down to getting people in the Discord. Um, the ultimate goal is to get people E tags, so that's my kind of what I revolve myself around. Cell is good at like recruiting inside of the game. I'm like getting people in the Discord, um, and then I'm more of the social person for the leadership team, um, which is kind of weird to say because uh, like I'm not saying that like my leadership buddies are not like social at all. They just aren't as social as I am. So it's kind of like I know like I like interacting with new people. I'm not shy about it. Just the way acting with you right now. Like I've never met you before in my life, but I'm willing to tell you more about me. So I guess my role boils down to interacting with new people, ultimately getting them their e tag, doing advertisement outside of the Discord and in game, um, and just being a like friendly, welcoming face. Um, and I enjoy my role to a large extent. And I feel like I've been really successful, especially with the fact that I believe that we're I think above 710 members now in the Discord, which is just wild. Like I'm just trying to envision like 710 people in one room. That's just crazy to think about. Um,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
huge.
so I can't. So I would say that that my role is like that, but I also wouldn't put it past the other people that do similar work, like the other recruitment coordinators or RCs that do what stuff that I do, obviously including Cell, but also the EGOs. I love them. They do a lot what I do a lot of what I do, and then even people that aren't assigned to RC that are doing work just to be welcoming and friendly faces in the Discord. Uh, and these even are like E tags and EGs and even EGOs that didn't sign up for RC, but they still do just the little things, and that their commitment doesn't go unnoticed, at least by myself. Um, so, little shout out to all of you guys that that do the work despite not being within RC itself.
Yeah, having everyone being super welcoming is like really good, really good. What would be your favorite thing to do outside of Edge Gamers?
Um, recently I wouldn't even say that. I would actually say I was gonna say streaming, but that's why I said recently because I did recently start doing that. But I think actually my favorite thing to do outside of Edge Gamers would be to actually have a better grasp over my own life, which is kind of like a stupid like answer because it's like because you're asking me like something specific, I assume, like what specifically would I want to do outside of Edge Gamers. But even though I'm 20 years old, I don't really have a good grasp over who I want to be or what I want to do. So I just wish that I had a better grasp of myself. So I think for something that I'd like to do, I'd like to do whatever it takes to get a better idea of who I am, because I feel like there's people in this world that have a better understanding of who I am than I do myself. I've had a really weird life, and that's obviously a whole can of worms to unpack. But there's just EGO has helped me get a better idea of who I am, um, but I still feel like I have much more like I still feel like I need to grow and that I have more opportunities to grow. So I can't really answer that question. But right now, the answer to that question would be um, like just figuring out who I am.
Yeah, I feel like that all really just comes with time and experience.
Yeah. The which is just why I said like even though I'm 20, because we ask kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? And this is supposed to be like it's not like hard stuck obviously, but like these aspirations are supposed to be something that you strive for, right? I just don't have I don't have that strive to like I had that as a kid. I was like I think I wanted to be like a paleontologist, which basically like would discover like dinosaur bones and shit like that. Excuse my language. But
Fun.
the I just don't have that drive anymore. I don't know if that's because I've like been dealing with like a lot of depression stuff, but it's just eh, it's hard just like waking up in the morning and not knowing like what you want to do, like not feeling like you have a purpose. Um, so I'm still learning. I'm not embarrassed that I'm still learning, but I am a little embarrassed that I'm 20 years old and still learning. um, I don't really know how to put it other than that. I just wish I had a better like grasp of my life as some of my other peers do at college or at the college where I go. I um, am very like I know this is bad, but I'm almost jealous of just how like much of an understanding they have of life in comparison to myself. Um, so yeah,
Okay, what would you say your favorite TV series or movie would be?
um, for a while it was Doctor Who. Um, Doctor Who, I would watch Doctor Who with my dad all the time. Um, but I think now it's probably Stranger Things. I got really into Stranger Things also with my dad, and man, I just the everything about that show is just absolutely fantastic. I don't really keep up with TV shows. I'm not really good with like certain um, like keeping up with certain ones. Like I think there's like one called like Riverdale, and
Yeah, I've never been able to keep up with those. I'm more of a movie person.
yeah, I like. I would say yeah, like same here. More movies. I like Star Wars. I like Marvel. Um, I another TV show, TV series I didn't think about was American Horror Story. I really liked that. But yeah, I mean, I kind of just dabble here and there. I've never like consistently like committed to a TV show for years on end. It's usually kind of just like a spur of the year. I start binge watching one, and then another year passes, and then I find another one. Yeah, those are just a few.
Do you have any hobbies?
I sing. A lot of people know that already, but I sing at the college that I go to. Um, I've been singing pretty much most of my life, I'd say. Uh, it's kind of it's kind of weird because I actually, it's been probably 14, maybe 13 years since I like had like my first choir class back in elementary school, and I still don't really enjoy singing. Like which sounds really bad, like as if I'm being forced to do it, but it's really just more like I don't I don't enjoy like practicing. I really, really enjoy performing. And I have a lot of confidence when I perform. But my God, I hate practicing. And I feel like I feel like people are lying to themselves when they say that they like practicing in some respects, because like it can be really like time consuming. So I truthfully I love singing, like performing, but just doing like just practicing can be so tedious. But yeah, that's a hobby I'd say. I've had
Yeah,
other
I see
hobbies in
what
the
you mean.
past. I used to play baseball, but I don't play baseball anymore.
I actually still play baseball, yeah.
Yeah, I used to play in elementary school and or even before that. Like I think I started when I was like 6, or like 4. Like I think I hit or I joined t-ball when I was like 4 or 5 maybe. Really enjoyed that, and I did that all the way until I think like sophomore year in high school, and then I kind of came to the realization that like I wasn't growing. Like I didn't hit my growth spurt until like senior year. So I just was tiny. So I couldn't keep up with everyone else, and eventually I just had to say I need to quit. So
What are the things you love and hate the most?
Um, Shoot, that's a good question. Um, I really, really love my. This sounds cliche, but I really love my friends and my family more than anything because they have a, as I said before, they have a better. They sometimes have a better understanding of myself than I do of myself, and what I mean by that is that they are able to console and comfort like me in a very effective way. Um, and a lot of those friends come from EGO. Just being able to interact with people is really, really, really valuable for someone like myself. Especially with COVID, it's now more than anything I need social interaction, however that may come. And obviously, EGO helps a lot with that. But in all respects, friends and family have kept me uh, sane, if you will. So I'd say definitely my friends and family. Another thing I really love is um, I really love my school. Uh, the just the opportunity to kind of live, because like on the flip side, I love my friends and family, but on the flip side, it's really nice to have some like alone time. And my roommate pretty much works a 9 to 5 job now as an internship until he has an internship until April. So he's not even around right now. He hasn't been around in my room since 7 a.m. this morning. That's usually how it works. So it's nice being able to go to college and learning to live on by myself, but which is it gets lonely, but also it's really, really I really appreciate it because I can just be myself and work on my own time, work at my own pace, and also learn how to be an adult. And I've learned to really love that. I hate. What do I hate? I I hate my. I hate having anxiety. I hate my mental health. I've never liked my mental health. In the 7th grade, I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and a little bit of ADHD. And I that changed my life forever. Um, that was 8 years ago, um, and I'm still dealing with it. I've gotten a lot better with coping with it now, but I still hate it to its core. The it bars me from doing so many things, um, and it is constantly like pervasive in anything that I do. Um, Recently over the summer I kind of had like a mutation, if you will, of my anxiety and depression. I started developing like severe panic attacks, um, and that was probably one of the lowest points of my life. Just not being able to distinguish reality from um, just panic. Literally leaving my room was like difficult. So I hate my mental health like with a burning passion. I hate it. Um, and I'd say the other thing I hate on a more practical note, um, I I hate Minnesota. And what I mean by that is Minnesota is so boring. I live in Minnesota for those who don't know. And it is like it when we say land of 10,000 lakes, I mean it literally is just like a land of 10,000 lakes. There's like nothing to do around here except like boat, fish, hunt, um, and the likes of that. I mean, it is like there's no like interesting activities. The city that I live in is quite like stale in the sense that there's food, and like places to shop, but there's like no like good areas to do anything. Like there's no stuff. I mean, what we I guess all we have is the Mall of America, which Mall of America's sick, but we don't have like that. We don't have like the New York, anything like New York or LA or any of that. Kind of just I don't know. I don't really like my state. I'll just put it that way. But I love the views here. There's just not a lot to do.
I think a lot of people have it maybe sometimes like exact opposite that they are in the city and that they like everything, but sometimes they need to get away, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I used to live in New Jersey, and I really liked it there, and there was actually stuff to do there. Granted, I also was younger, so I was more like, uh, like I was always looking for something to do. So I probably just made stuff up as I went. But I also lived next to New York, so but I remember going to New York, it was actually overwhelming. So I think there, like you said, there is a happy medium of like being too much and too little. But man, it's just too little in Minnesota. It's too much in New York for obvious reasons, but in Minnesota, it's too little.
Yeah, I live in Cali, so sometimes, when I get to go camping or go on vacation, it's like it's always nice to just get away.
Yeah.
So, lastly, who is your favorite member of EGO?
I don't want to offend anyone, so I'll just say that off the bat that this person that I choose is not that just because they're my favorite doesn't mean that I respect anyone less than than this person. But the person that I have to say is my favorite is Divine. Divine is has been he is and has been a key um, member of not only for the community but for myself. Um, I knew Divine back in PG. We used to be the same rank back in PG. In fact, I'm pretty sure I had my. I think I was a member in PG before Divine was a member in PG, and by member I mean like that would be equivalent to like an E tag here. Um, and then he just started climbing through the ranks. And I don't remember when, but I took a break from gaming communities for a while, and I came back and I saw Divine was like this. Either he had just been promoted to a senior manager, or he was about to be promoted to a senior manager, and I was like, "Wow, this is so cool!" Like you, and he was doing it in member services, which is like this. Like to me, this was like this crazy uh, this reality like your leadership for a group that specifically looks out for members like member services. So it was someone that I looked up to, and in addition to that he like it's like we had never left like we like when I came back we joked around and dicked around just like we used to, and he hasn't like become any uh, less genuine than who he was back in PG. And I appreciate him probably more than he knows. I tell him this all the time that he's like one of the greatest people I've ever met. But I'll say it here and again that he, if you want to get someone like to know that you don't know, make it Divine because he has helped me, and not only helped me, but just given me like just joy. Like being around him just makes me happy. I don't know if it's his voice. I don't know if it's his demeanor. I've seen some pretty funny pictures of that kid too. So like, there's just he's all around just a great human. Um, but yeah, I'd say Divine.
All right, well, that is all the questions I have for you today.
All right, thanks, Toby.